In this video, I give you more stories on the sorting wheel, or as Neville Goddard said, the Wheel of Recurrence, or in Sanskrit called the Wheel of Samsara. I already gave you several videos on this, but if you're interested in this mysticism or the out-of-body experiences that some people had that encountered this wheel in their near-death experience, or actually dying and then jumping back in time to be alive again, then this video may be for you. I give you several short stories of this wheel. I hope you enjoy these. So let's start with the first story.
I had a nang before mine, so I may have been about to die from starving my brain of oxygen, I decay. I was lying on my couch in the lounge with a few mates, had the nang, and then everything disappeared. Like my vision went black, and then I was in a void. The only thing I could see was a small light in the distance. Then all of a sudden, it was right in front of me, and huge. It was a wheel. After reading the comments here and doing a little research, I'd say it looked similar to the Wheel of Samsara. I don't remember much of the experience, only that I somehow knew that everything happens again and again. The wheel I saw had millions of sections. Each one was a different moment in time. I was told to choose a moment. The one I chose was me sitting on a friend's mattress in his lounge. I was transported there. I looked around, and I was sitting in his lounge instead of my own. It didn't last long. Once I thought of my own home, I suddenly felt like I was being sucked through every single moment that had ever occurred. When I was coming back, it was like being slotted into a million different versions of myself through different realities, worlds, to see which one fit. Exactly like being sorted. I also had this feeling like time was trying to catch up with itself. Once I was back in my own body, I had this sense of uncovering some great secret, but it was like trying to remember a dream. What I've written here is all I can remember of my own experience. I've spent the last 2 years since that happened trying to understand it.
Well, that was the first one. Let's jump right to the second story.
Not a near-death experience, but I have seen that thing. I terrified the living shit out of my GF at the time, and my roommates. I was standing up, had just passed some blood in my urine, and knew a kidney stone would soon be on the way. I said, "I don't feel so good," and collapsed right there. I was passed out, but also saw this large wheel that reminded me of an old movie film reel. It was floating in space, blue sparkled background with bits of white and silver everywhere. I could feel myself being pulled to one of the images on the reel, when suddenly I was in that image. I was walking down the street, looking out to an amber horizon on a sidewalk. After about 10 seconds, I knew something wasn't right and tried to pull myself out of it, as though I was waking from a dream. I saw streaks of static across my vision and clicked into the next reel. Another life of mine, but it wasn't right. One reel click after the other, from 10 seconds to 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then rapid fire, and I screamed in this world and in my natural one. Me, lying there passed out on the floor screaming, trying to get back to reality. Eventually I found the correct reel image and woke up.
I hope you like the second one as well. I do have another one. Here is number 3. Well, now I have a quick question for you. Have you already gotten some value out of this video? Maybe you've learned something you haven't heard before. If so, please help me by liking, subscribing, maybe even sharing with other people that may be interested in this. But also please leave your comment. What is it that you've learned so far? If you do that, then you show me what kind of content you are interested in, and then I can create more of that to help you grow.
This is going to sound bizarre, but I had a nightmare a few months after an NDE when I was 11-12. Don't know if this lines up, but your story unearthed the memory, so here we go. Sum up attempt. A solid iron rod, 2-inch thick, struck me where I stood. My sister said I was laying there not breathing, for what she said felt like eternity, but couldn't have been more than 1 min. Suddenly, she said, I sprang up screaming, scaring her half to death, and ran to the house. Most I remember was looking up before the pipe hit, and then being in the car on the way to the hospital. The dream, from what I can remember, 31 now, I was in a void save for a spinning wheel or ladder that I was hanging onto by the sides. I couldn't see the whole thing I was hanging on, but inside the openings of the wheel ladder were different places, times. didn't think much of it while I desperately clambering from one reality window to the next, seemingly looking for my home, my reality. Climbing down, up, left, right, had little meaning in that place. Whatever the ladder was, it was spinning, and there was an understanding that I clinging to it outside of time. Now that I think of it, this is around the same time I started wondering in the back of my mind that I had slipped into a different reality, that everything felt off just slightly, and only certain things would be obvious to me as being wrong for what I had previously known, i.e. Pisces' astrological sign from what I remembered before as what is used for Cancer, and vice versa. This isn't something I'd have messed up. We had that giant astrology book as kids, would always be flipping through it. Doctors said very lucky it wasn't more serious. Didn't have a concussion, just a severe headache, plus 16 stitches in my face. Was told, while being sewn up, that had the pipe stuck higher, I'd definitely be dead. That I wasn't in a coma, at least, was miraculous. I've tried asking my parents about it and other high strange experiences, but they usually just laughed it off.
After number 3, of course, we have number 4. So let's enjoy this one as well.
When I was a boy, I had a vision. I could see a wheel of my life spinning before me. There were sections in the wheel, and in each section was a different part of my life, moving like a motion picture. I could journey from this external viewpoint into the wheel, experiencing what was happening in that part of my life, and then return to the external perspective. Interestingly, I was not allowed to remember my future. I don't know why. That's just how it happened. In my dream, it was a dance on a stage with the dancers forming interweaving wheels. I called it Dance of My Soul. As for remembering your future, it's my understanding that you can only view possibilities for it.
I hope you enjoyed this entire video. Make sure to check out the entire playlist, especially if you're interested in the topic of death when it comes to this multiverse, different timelines, and of course also reincarnation. I answer questions like, can we manifest someone coming back from the dead? And I give you plenty of stories where something like this happened. So I do see you there, or in my other content, or in personal coaching. Until then, of course, I do wish you all the best now. Bye bye.